And so, yeah, we're going to ready to move on to our next segment, which is going to be a beautiful segment. It's about Black business in Mexico. And I'm pretty sure everybody is very interested about business and how to establish business locally and internationally. So for this one, we're going to have Jasmine McNeil with the House of Vibes. She has done a beautiful pre-recorded video for us today. She won't be able to join us live, but we have her video to play for y'all. And also we have Phoenix White with Sacred Celestial and Imcrom Studio, speaking about Black female entrepreneurship and building business in Mexico. So yeah, give us 1 second. We're gonna cue up the video with Jasmine McNeil with the House of Vibes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jasmine McNeil, founder and CEO of House of Vibes, located in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. Um, I have ran this business for about a year and a half now. We are, in technical terms, we are a creative center, which means that we house all things in the creative sector. That includes hosting creative events, including open mics, live bands. We also have classes and workshops that help creatives in their development process. And we are also the house of the first Black woman owned recording studio in all of Mexico. Um, I started my expat journey back in May of 2020. Prior to me moving to Mexico, I was living out in Atlanta in a very bad situation. Around this time, I was about 3 years into my entrepreneurship journey and really didn't have any direction of what I wanted to do and where I was going with it. Um, so I made a decision in the middle of the pandemic to, change my environment and went very drastic with it by going out of the country. My original plan was to go to Colombia, but I ended up in Mexico because they were the only ones that kind of had a clear description online that they were still open for tourism. So I left May 1st. I had originally planned just to go for 30 days to kind of get my mind right, come up with ideas, and just kind of get in a better space in order for me to, tap back into my creativity and my entrepreneurship. What was originally supposed to be 30 days in Tulum ended up being now 3 years as of May 1st. I just had my 3-year anniversary living out of the country. Um, and turned into a lifestyle for me. When I first moved down here to Mexico, I didn't really have a plan. It was, like I said in the beginning, just trying to figure things out. And then once I got here, I started meeting locals that kind of helped me connect with things. And then I started to narrow down the things that I really love and like to do. My very first venture was called Playa Noir, where I curated events for Black and Brown people. This is around the time when tourism started to pick back up in Mexico, and I was drawing a lot of the expat and tourism communities, and just hosting different things that were culturally complementing to each other. So, for instance, I would do the Clash, which was a musical culture experience where we would do like something like bachata versus soca or Afro beats versus salsa. Um, and then just doing things that were like culturally appropriate for both Black and Brown people. Prior to that, my bread and butter, which I am, what I have a degree in, was accounting. So I was in the accounting field. It was something I'm naturally good at, but I didn't really take forth or take keen to, really embracing it. I just did accounting because it's something I went to school with and I was really natural at. Time passes on, I'm doing my accounting thing and I'm expanding and working in Empire Noir. And I end up having this dream about House of Vibes. House of Vibes has kind of been a lot of things outside of what it is today. It took a while to get to where it is today. But I'm very grateful for it. Like I said, I've been in operation for almost 2 years, and every moment of it has been great for me. Um, so once I had the dream about House of Vibes, I end up getting investors and getting people that were interested in, partnering with me with this. And I had opened up House of Vibes in 30 days. I was put under the pressure by an investor of mine, seeking out to really get things started, was really excited about it. And then in 30 days, I opened up. I got a lot of support from the local community, and still do get a lot of support from the local community. It originally started off as a co-working space slash creative space. So we were hosting a lot of workshops and classes and events and activities in there. And then over time, over the last year and a half, it has developed out into what it is now, which we just recently this year added on our recording studio aspect to it. Um, since then, I have opened two additional businesses out in Mexico. I have a yacht company that I host group or share urban yacht experiences every weekend. I've been doing that for about a year and a couple of months. My most recent project is a transportation company called Quintana Blue, where we offer private and airport transportation and excursions to tourists. Um, has this journey been easy? No. Has it been worth it? Absolutely. It was life changing for me. It helped me to grow as a person, as an entrepreneur, and even as a creative. It has even helped me to narrow down the things that I find enjoyable doing, and also that I find that helps out a lot of people in our community. Being that I have the financial and accounting background, I have taken my for like the past year or so, I have really gotten a lot of very serious and very interested in business structures and financing and how to protect yourself through your businesses, and taking and making sure that you get the best out of tax write-offs and protecting yourself under a trust. So I have done a class on business structures and trust in my experience with them, and how I protect myself when it comes to taxes and being protected by the law and all of those things. And even how I've even talked about how I incorporate my businesses in the States and have tied them to Mexico and have protecting them as well. Some of the things that I have inquired over the years, like I said, the 3 years that I've been living in Mexico, I've inquired three businesses. I have two international lands and two domestic. I've educated myself on. I'm very self-taught in a lot of things, so I've educated myself on proper business structures. I've educated myself on holding companies, offshore accounts. I've educated myself in the trust sector as well, in like I said, protecting myself and my businesses under a trust. Um, Another thing that I have that I and you, who you will meet very soon, Phoenix, or if you have not met her yet, Phoenix White, we are both members of Beta, which is Black Expats Thriving Abroad. It is an association that we have built out here in Playa del Carmen, which is supposed to help assist the community in, the typical things, and also have a collective of community members where we can get access to information that is not as accessible to us as we would like. I am specifically in the event space. But we cater to a lot of things that Phoenix will go a little bit more in detail with you guys about. Um, so some of the things I can give to you guys, as far as like those who are interested in opening up a business in Mexico, or looking forward to, or looking forward or want more information about it, just a few tips and tricks. It is one thing that I learned about opening a business is basically making sure that you connect with the locals. They are very educated and very knowledgeable in their systems. And though I went about things by, going through the process all on my own, only more so for educational reasons. Like, I wanted to know what was happening and when it was happening. But there have been plenty of times that I've been burnt. I've associated myself with the wrong people, and, or false people or third parties. And I've also experienced, the language barrier as well. A lot of our contracts and understanding in the business sector is all done in Spanish because we're operating out of Mexico. And not having the education or not understanding the language fully definitely was a disadvantage in me. But I'm very active in learning the language now that I'm being more involved in my businesses. Um, there are a few things that I advise people who are interested in starting a business in Mexico. You definitely want to make sure that you do your market research. We all get this enthusiasm. We all get really enthusiastic about opening up a business and, hoping that everyone wants everything that we're going to offer, when in reality, you're not really sure until you test the market. So I've had plenty of people who come to me and saying that they wanted to do brick and mortars or they wanted to open up their business, and I tell people all the time, test the market to see if it's something that people actually want. And even if that, don't do what people want. Do what you enjoy doing, and then have people follow you by and doing what you enjoy doing. Because if you do things just for the money or for the clout of it, it can put you in a predicament to where you're taking on a bigger financial obligation than you're really prepared for. Um, so I also have a book out. It is called the Passionpreneur Playbook, and it's 12 steps or 12 things that I learned in operating in the first year of my business that I am handing off to you guys. And basically, what it is, it helps you identify your passion and how you turn that into profit. And like I said, these are steps that I took, and these are steps that I developed in my process to help me figure out how I would move forward with house. There has been plenty of times where I wanted to give up on my dream here, and all because of the situation. But it's my passion that drove me to keep going. And I've done some amazing things with my businesses. I've collaborated with some great brands. I've had some Grammy Award winning artists in my studios. I've booked out things. I've even hit my first six figures in my business, since I've been an entrepreneur in my businesses in Mexico. So I will have my contact information for anyone who is interested or wanted to ask questions. Sometimes I'm available to answer any question that you have, and I also offer one-on-one consultations and kind of sit down with people and plan out to figure out whether starting a business in Mexico is for you or if it isn't, if it is, how do we make that make sense for you in your financial situation and your concept. So I would love to thank Repair Nations for giving me this opportunity to be a guest speaker. This is great. I hope that this information that I have given is helpful to someone, or at least sparks the interest for those who are looking to branch out into the international waters of entrepreneurship. We are definitely everyone who is on this panel are definitely we are definitely making wave and making history here in Mexico, but we're also honoring the locals that we of the land that we are here enjoying as well. So once again, thank you so much, Repair Nation. Thank you, Lisa, for this opportunity. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Phoenix. And like I said, if you guys have any questions or anything, you guys can reach me on social media at House of Vibes. It's spelled HAUSOFVIBESMX. Or if you're interested in emailing us, it is hello@houseofvibesmx.com. Once again, it's spelled HAUSOFVIBESMX.com. And I can be reached at any one of those. Thank you so much. Once again, my name is Jasmine McNeil, the founder and CEO of House of Vibes, and this was the pleasure.
We have next Phoenix White. Phoenix is very dynamic, has multiple businesses as well, Sacred Celestial and Ancrom Studios. And yeah, we want to give Phoenix a chance to share about her business.
Hey everybody, it's nice to meet you. I absolutely love Jasmine. She's actually one of the people that really inspires me here in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. First, I want to say thank you, Lisa, for including me on this journey, and thank you to Repaired Nations for inviting me to come speak with you guys today. I was trying to figure out what I was going to speak about, but I'll just give you what I got. So my name is Phoenix White. I am the founder of Sacred Celestial and CEO of MCon Studios. I'm also an author of Redefining Strong, which is my book that I love. I'm a psychedelic therapist as well as a plant medicine facilitator. And then on the flip side of that, like Jasmine, I'm also a creative global brand director and a television producer. And I've worked with companies like HBO, VH1, NBC, and quite a few others. And lastly, as Jasmine said, I am one of the co-founders and board members of Beta, which is Black Expats Thriving Abroad. And I'll tell you guys a little bit about our mission. So our mission is to create a thriving and inclusive community for expats of color to succeed, connect, share, and receive access to the support needed to thrive in our communities abroad. So overall, my mission and purpose on this planet is to help people to radically heal, expand, and evolve. And so that's just who I am overall. I'm not going to go too long. So I'll tell you a little bit about my strategy here as far as living in Mexico. I am a legal resident here because I thought that that was one of the most important things to get if you're going to be living here, is to become an actual legal resident. And that was my very first strategy. And I'm also a mom of 2 boys, and my husband is also here. So I brought my entire family here on I would say a faith move. My spirit wanted to be near water. I wrote down a bunch of places and it led me here. So I've been here for almost 3 years. My strategy here is I don't necessarily try to make money in Mexico because the price points for what I would make is just totally different from what I make in the States. So what I do is I live here, I create here, and I either bring people from the States to the things that I've created here in Mexico, which, increases revenue and stuff here. I always hire locals as well as some expats for the events and the things that I do. And then I also take some of the things that I have here, like for Sacred Celestial, for instance, as a plant medicine facilitator. And I have a Mexican grower who grows all of our plant medicine here. And then I take that medicine to the States and I do ceremonies in the States. So that's sort of what my strategy is. I don't necessarily try so hard to create businesses in Mexico primarily. And so that has helped me to maintain having a higher income, because it would be a lot less if I were to charge for those same things. For instance, if I were to do a shoot here, I could make like $500, but when I brought my shoot here, I made $10,000. So that's like how much the difference was when I brought a production here to Mexico. My expenses were lower, but I brought my clients here. I also do a lot of online stuff. So like if you get into like online sales, finding products and ways to sell your products online, and not necessarily having tangible products all the time, but like creating online products that are easily downloadable or things that you can teach or something that you can share. I think those are the best ways to go about it. On the flip, I wanted to talk about something else, but I mean, that's my business stuff, but I want to talk about something that I think is a little bit of a issue in seeing people who want to come to Mexico is, as a family and individually, is the mental health aspect. I found that even in living here and working with people here, a lot of people at some point, not everyone, end up depressed when they don't come with a plan. And when I say depressed, I mean like talking about suicide, don't have anywhere to live anymore, just trying to figure out, and then they have to depend on the communities to sustain their lives here. And so, and then as families, I feel like there are a lot of children that are being brought here because the parents are just bringing them, but they're not having a plan, because the assumption is that it's so much easier. And it's not so much easier always. So if you really don't have a plan, expenses have gone up in Mexico. Like, those apartment rates and how much things cost, they're not so low. And so I think with the kids, it's also really important that you figure out where you live that's also going to be conducive for their mental health and not just ours as the parents. And I'll give you a scenario of why, because it happened to me and my 16-year-old. So when we first came here, we were living in a resort style place. It was beautiful and it was amazing. And me and my husband was like, this is awesome. And my son just wouldn't come out the room. And I thought he was just being like kind of lazy at first and was like, I don't want to go outside. But literally we lived on the beach. And it wasn't until we went to the States, because I bring my son to work with me in the States and I pay him to come and shoot film and video for me. So I also train my kids to work in whatever area that we're working in, and I pay them. And he told me that he was depressed. And so I literally had to come back, and he said he didn't have any friends. He didn't have any connection. People kept coming and going, like he didn't have a foundation. So I had to come back and create a new strategy and move out of my house on the beach more towards where there were schools and an environment where he can meet neighbors, where there was kids next door, where there was, he can walk down the street, or he can, where there was a community that he could build. And now he has skyrocketed, as far as confidence and self-esteem and all of that stuff. So I think it's just really, really important to make sure that you're not damaging your kids, moving here and not having a plan on where you're going to live. And the best ways that I found to even combat that was Facebook groups. These Facebook groups, to start just asking questions. Hey, where are all the kids? I put it in every group I could find. Where's the kids? Where's the kids? And I found out where all the kids were. And then I found a place to live, even though it wasn't so great on the beach for me, but my son was happy. And so we were able to be happier as a family. Financially, I think it's really, really important that you don't go out to eat all the time because you will eat up all your money. And I think just really, really sitting down and taking this time in this beautiful place to do the work. Rather it be come up with a plan for how you want your business to go, rather that be doing the self-healing that you need to do, because I've also found that people are either running from something or they're running to something. Neither are wrong, but you can't outrun yourself. You're going to be everywhere you are. And so I've seen a lot of that. I've seen a lot of people running, and then they end up in the same situations here that they were in other places. And they think it's other people, but really they just trying to run from themselves. So I think doing that healing work and really assessing, really finding a tribe of people that you can trust and work on yourself, because this is a very high vibrational space and place to be where you can actually do that work. There are so many healing modalities here. There's so many resources to help you to evolve. Even I have evolved so much by just living here in Mexico, because my mind is not so scattered on just trying to make it, and so just making sure you make time to do the work, to communicate with your family, communicate with your kids. Like, don't drop them off in your mind. Like, don't think that they got it, because most of the time they don't got it. It seems great, but they're not all the way right. Communicate with your squad, like find 1 or 2 people. It doesn't have to be a big tribe of people, but 1 or 2 people that's in your environment that if something happens, you know who to call. You know that person. I can call that person if something happens. You need to have allies when you live here, because you are in another country. And so, one of the things for us as parents is, if we got picked up for some mistake or police or something like that, where would our kids go? Who can we trust? Who can we call? So just having like a person that you could think of, this is my safe person who has my information, who I can go to and reach out to. So that's just a few things that I have. And if y'all have any questions, I can totally answer any questions you may have. I saw my 5-minute warning.
Hey, sister, you coming with some information right now. I'm pretty sure a lot of people got some questions, and I'm loving how you putting this presentation on business and relating it to family, because that's very important for our people, like, getting back to family business and working within our community. So yeah, we really appreciate you sharing that information. And yeah, if anybody have any questions, please ask. It'd be a good time.
Moon said that Playa also needs more spaces, and actually for kids to get together. Actually, Beta is working on that, like we have a kids sector where that team is working on things for just kids, because that's been a big deal. So you guys got questions, let me know. I think my time. So
you know what? Can you give us a little bit more information about Beta? I'm interested about that too as well.
Yeah, how do you link with Beta? So Beta is, you can go to Facebook. Our Facebook is just Beta, Black Expats Thriving Abroad, and you can join Beta very, very easily. You just answer a few questions and you join our community. And then if you want to be a part of our teams, so we have like quite a few teams, and I won't go through all of them right now, but it's like health and wellness, events, there's marketing and productions, there's the kids version, there is, I mean, we have tons of different teams. And so if people want to be a part of those teams to add to that collective, no, Beta does not have an IG yet. But if you want to add to that collective, you can totally join our team. We have an application and you can just join our groups if you want to lend your services to Beta. Yeah, any more questions? And we also have a WhatsApp group as well. I can actually plug the Beta WhatsApp group into here. No, Beta is not only applicable to those in the Playa area, but we're doing a lot. We want to create additional chapters. So I would love for there to be a Beta Cancun, a Beta Playa, you know, but we're trying to make sure that we have the structure all the way solid and the team so that we can replicate for other communities to be able to do it. Any more questions? Yeah, I can definitely put the link to the Facebook group and the WhatsApp group in here. No problem. Any more questions?